Chickity check 1 2. Bien, uko ready?
Niko ready.
Bro, I'm excited like crazy. Dero, uko ready? Tuanze. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another session of the Playhouse. Waze, Niko excited. If you know how long I've been trying to get this guy to be on the seat, you have no idea.
Lord.
But finally, get. Excited to have him. This is one of Africa's greatest musicians, as an individual, but even within the group that he is. And that is not just me dropping hot air. That is a fact, people. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is facts that I'm dropping right here. This guy has shaped the music industry. As a songwriter, he is absolutely phenomenal. As a member of the group that he's in, they are absolutely phenomenal. Not only taking Kenya by storm, not only taking Africa by storm, but taking the world by storm. Get your pens out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because unaenda shule sahi. Off camera, we've been having some conversations that already I'm like, onge kwa camera. To their name, they have 6+ projects. 6+ projects Nabado, because I know there's some stuff that he has done solo bums. But anyway, enough talk for me. This intro, Bien, apparently I can't do you enough justice just because of all that you've done. Goja. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for none other than Bien! Effects, brother.
Utazieka.
Nimeziweka.
Usikose kuniekea.
First of all, let me just say your names. I keep messing up.
Yes, my name is Bien-Aime. Bien-Aime Alusa Baraza. Yeah. Bien-Aime is French for well loved.
Well
Am I
loved.
supposed to look into camera?
Tunaongea na wewe. Usijali. If you want to talk to guys, you look into the camera.
Okay.
Otherwise,
My name is Bien-Aime Alusa Baraza. Yeah.
Okay, Bien. Your story is so this is going to be a good city, but I want to start this. I don't know, and a lot of guys ask me, how come you don't bring the whole group? Sometimes when I'm doing, for example, Shinde, guys ask me, how come you've not brought all the members? I'm like, because individually, all of these people have stories,
and everybody's city is going to be so different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, tuanze hii kitu kutoka mwanzo.
Mwanzo.
You see what I did there? See what I did there?
Rapper.
So Bien, let me ask you.
Yeah.
My first question that I like asking here is, when did you fall in love with music?
When did I fall in love with music? Must have been like in 1991. I was 3 years old.
You're born 88.
Yeah, 87. I was born 87, December 28th. So I was like 3 years old. I was starting to become conscious to my environment. And then KBC used to open up at exactly 4 o'clock. So when KBC came on, I remember hearing Iron, Lion, Zion, Lion. And the video with the lion jumping, like the animation video of Iron, Lion, Zion. And I really liked that song. And I was like, wow, what's this? Like, so I used to wait every day at 4 o'clock to see that song. But then now they started playing other songs, which I also fell in love with. I mean, they played like ABBA before TV went on, MC Hammer. And I was just a kid who was very fond of music. I remember the first time I actually said out loud that, hey, I want to be a superstar. I was like 6 years old.
Whoa.
I told my cousins and they laughed, like everyone burst out laughing. Like, Chiki Alusani mwenda wazimu, you know, because I loved singing. I was always the kid in school who used to lead the chorus, you know, like anything that was music affiliated, I did with my heart.
I love it.
So 6 years old is when I made the decision that, I'm going to be a singer. When I was in class, Form 1.
At a Kabal Form 1, let me ask you, in your family, how many are you? What number are you? I'm trying to understand the family.
My dad is a man of many children. Okay. Yeah, we are like 10. I'm the last though, you know, like I'm the last. My dad is polygamous, so he has many a family. Yeah, and so from my mom is me, my sister and I. Okay. But I also grew up with another brother of mine called Melvin, who I'm super close with. He's like my best friend. Okay. Yeah.
I actually went to school with one of your bros, and he kept telling me he's your bro. I'm like,
Who?
We're in South Africa together.
Yuri. Oh, Yuri. Yes, Yuri is my brother. Yes.
What? Tiny world.
He's super tiny.
Yeah. So ni ukweli, yes?
Ni ukweli. No. Yuri is my blood
I'm joking,
brother.
Yuri.
My blood brother.
Okay, so where do you go to? Where are you right now? Are you Nairobi? Are you born Tao? Are you born Nairobi? Are you born?
Yeah, man. You know me, I was born on the Nyayo Stadium roundabout.
What do you mean?
My parents lived in Gay. When on the day of my birth, they were heading to hospital, to Nairobi Hospital, to deliver me. But in my aunt's car, I was born at the Nyayo Stadium roundabout. So mimi mse wa tao, mimi mzaliwa tao, yani mimi mzaliwa Nyayo kwa raunda, kwa ndai. Tukienda hosi
Hey, that's huge. Okay, ulienda primo wapi hata kabla tuingie high school?
Primo nilikuwa St. Nicholas. In the beginning. Nikaenda NPC. Nikaenda St. Patrick's Hill School. Nilikuwa boarding school, actually first time in the boarding, class 5. Nikatoka nikaenda Olerai, Koronga, nikaenda Kunoni, Koronga.
All these schools you went in Primo?
Primo. Kuna time budangu alikuwa na dola faka sota, sasa venye alisota.
Vitu
zika change mazee, and I was like, you just school hopping, man. Sometimes you're in this school, then the school fees in Tashida, you go to another school. But those are the things, like I have friends from all walks of life and all the different schools I went to. Like I'm very grateful for that right now, looking back. Yeah.
That's crazy. So what happened? I mean, nilifanyika ndio buda kasota. Am I just lost his job?
I just lost his job. Those things, adulting just happened to him. Like right now when I look at it, I feel bad for him. I don't think he ever recovered, man. You know, it hit as a family, it hit us really hard. But I spoke about it also on an Engaged talk I did.
Yeah.
But when I look back now, when I look at where he is, I don't know, man. That season of life taught us very many important things. Taught me very many important things.
Okay, so how did it shape you?
That's where actually I found music. You know, because when we had nothing, like we sat in the house, we didn't have electricity in our house. You know, we didn't have a TV. We had like a 9-battery radio, and so my redemption is just listening to music every day in the evening, man. I remember listening to R. Kelly. Oh shit, I shouldn't say R. Kelly.
I get you.
I remember listening to R. Kelly. I remember listening to Michael Jackson on radio. When Manakageni was 22. You know, like, doing the hot 7 at 7 on Kiss. And just very good memories of that house at that time were just, you know, Koro Boys and pressure lamps. And nice music, and me and my sister singing along to the songs.
I love it.
Yeah, and that's when I started like holding my craft, just singing all the time.
Oh, and at this time, so you know you want to be a superstar, and I had you mentioned now that's when you knew you wanted music, and specifically you wanted to be a vocalist. Ukutaka kuwa rapper.
Because I have a lisp. So I always tried to rap, but it was hard because my tongue is heavy. And then also like nobody. I don't know. No offense to the rappers in the building. But singing is just.
I know, man.
So all rappers want to be singers. I mean, look at Calligraph Jones. Calligraph Jones, low key, wants to be an R&B nigga, but he's stuck in that rap thing.
Calligraph
deep inside Calligraph Jones, Nyashinsky, deep inside the R&B niggas too.
Okay, but then you see, to be honest, even I wanted to be a singer. Mimi nilikuwa msewa Mariah Carey, Boys to Men. But when did you know that...
Mimi Boys to Men especially have really shaped how I think as a...
But when did you know that your vocals, because it takes, you remember Wanye Morris from Boys to Men?
I'm telling you, man, me from when I was like in class 2, class 1, I could really tell I could sing better than other kids. You know, I used to be the one leading the chorus in class. When I was in class 7, I led my class in whatever.
So this was natural.
In the, what was it called? Parents' Day, those performances for Parents' Day. I remember me and my sister used to sing in church. My sister and I used to sing in church all the time. And I was in a group actually when I was even 7 years old, 6, 7, 8, 9 there. I was in a group called Christ Ambassadors. I was in SDA in this New Life Church right here. And there's a guy called, you know Gabantu?
Yeah, right.
Gabantu Studios.
Yeah.
So Gabantu's mom was my first ever music teacher.
What?
Yeah. She's the one who like pulled us together in the estate and put us in a group. And then I just identified that I was a very good singer. So she gave me a lot of the solos. My sister used to do all of the solos too. My sister's a very good singer as well. Nice. And that's where it started. So my music career actually started in the SDA church.
I love it.
That's when I learned the ethics of rehearsal. Like I'd leave school at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to Miss Gabantu, I'd leave school at 4 o'clock in the evening, go to Miss Gabantu's house and rehearse for an hour, and then go home. And that just became the norm. So for me, rehearsal is a way of life. It's not even ati una rehearse, uko na show, mimi rehearse tu. Hata kazi na show, hata kazi leo niko na rehearsal. Hata leo niko na rehearsal, after hizi mcheki naenda rehearsal. So that's where I learned rehearsal being a way of life. That's where I first got applause for singing, because the SDA church, I think, according to me, the relationship with music is the best.
See, SDA is where majority of the a cappella groups were.
A cappella groups, choirs, and you know, like my neighbor was staunch. Okay, most of my neighbors were SDA, by the way, for some reason. And I remember my best friend Philip at the time. His dad was a very alikuwa mkali, like he was a bad man, you know. But on Saturdays, Philip's dad was not the professional, was not the bad man, was not the mkali guy. Philip's dad was in the choir.
Alikuwa bass hapo.
Yeah, and I really admired that, because you know, like for a man who I saw to be so masculine, just being in the church and enjoying music and singing, I found that to be so amazing. So I got a lot of inspiration from also Philip's dad, and because in their house, at my friend Philip's, in their house is where the SDA choir called Redemption Choir used to meet to rehearse. So I just used to go and sit there and listen the whole time. I could hear them from my house. I could go closer to the window of their house and listen. Such beautiful music came from that house all the time.
You know why I love the backstory. You begin to see even where the fuel for the passion increased. You get what I mean? Kai's story that you're talking about, Philip's dad and the SDA church. I didn't even know that about you.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so
I'm a pathfinder. I've been an adventurer. You know, that whole is like, I love SDA, man. And
I want to know, from a self-confidence perspective, did the lisp affect you in?
Never, man. I've never had confidence issues.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying, bro.
I've never had. I don't know. I have confidence issues sometimes. There's moments when I felt like my craft is not enough. Maybe right now I'm just in a season in my life where I'm very confident. Yeah.
Vocals kutoka mavoko ni
wewe. I'm a vocals, but they're deadly. Yani kutoka nikamtoi, yani nilijonga hiyo ndio itanitoa. Yani that was the one thing I did, and I stood out from everybody else, and I was like, this is ndio itanitoa.
So okay, so now let's transition into high school. Do you do well in KCP? What?
I did well in KCP.
Were you a clever guy? Ama you were just?
I don't know, man. I'm clever in the things that matter to me.
Unaongea katuka creative.
So
I love it.
If you're really gonna measure the abilities of Bien by his math and his physics, I'm dumb as man. But I went to Upper Hill, and in Upper Hill is where.
So what year is this? Unaingia Upper Hill when?
Unaingia Upper the year 2001.
2001. Okay, ko form 1 sahi.
The first day nimeenda shule, nimereport on Wednesday, February 4th. I think ilikuwa February sijui tu gani. Nimeingia chuo, kulikuwa na group hapa inaitwa Voice in the Light. It was a legacy group. Enye koko form 4 that year kwa Voice in the Light. Kama Sauti Sol, for example, ni Voice in the Light ya 2005. So I remember kuna Voice in the Light flani. Yeah, ilikuwa na group inaitwa Pentharmony.
Nakumbuka Pentharmony.
Unajua Pentharmony? Pentharmony pia hiyo time wakiimba ilikuwa Philip Shemas, Benso na ule Kevo wasema. Alikuwa Pentharmony. Na msanii anaitwa Max, alikuwa ni bass. Waliimba Parade. Hiyo siku nikaamua nitakuwa msanii. Sasa hiyo siku nika seal deal kabisa, nikasema sasa hii siku hapo, that's where after we sang that song, and I remember the song they sang is called I am still on the race. I am still on the race, about the race of life. And that's the day I made the decision. I went back home and told my mom, "Yo mom, you know what? I've decided I'm going to be a musician." Because I was a day school.
Yeah.
And my mom just blasted me and told me, "Wewe nimekutuma chuo kusoma ama kuimba?" Achizo ujinga wewe mazee. But also I understand why she was asked. I don't understand why. We talk about it all the time right now, we laugh. But that's the day I decided. And I was in Upper Hill.
Day one, Upper Hill, hearing Voices of the Light.
Voice in the Light waliimba. Hiyo siku nikasikia jamaa wakiimba. Nikasema tu bas, hakuna kazi nyingine tunafanya hapa sasa hivi.
Okay, so what happened? By the way, did you know votaries? Had you heard of votaries?
Votaries now, Brian King.
Yes, I used to come do missions with Brian King to Upper Hill?
Let me tell you something, man. Brian King has to be the most phenomenal Kenyan vocalist to ever walk this earth.
What?
I met him one day in a mall. He didn't even, like, Brian King doesn't even know how much he's inspired people like us.
Yo.
Brian King is my biggest vocal inspiration. I had him sing at NPC South and it changed my life. Another moment where I was sure this is what I want to do.
That's insane.
Brian King sang and the whole church like, and the kids. Vocalist ilikuwa group matata. Watu hapa Hill pia mazi.
Yeah,
they were also from Upper Hill.
Yeah, was Benja in Upper Hill? I don't
Benja
know.
was also in Upper Hill.
Benjamin Otieno was also in Upper Hill.
All of them. Benja, yeah. Those are Upper Hill boys.
Hey, those guys. Even Benja, bass-wise, he's been able to do some crazy things with vocals.
Benja has an amazing vocal range. You know, he can sing tenor, he can sing bass.
Okay. Hey, tuendele, okay. But Upper has still today a lot of vocalists who came out of there.
I think Upper Hill, if the music program was really structured and funded, would produce all the superstars, like the biggest stars you've had in your life. I mean, what are the odds that Sauti Sol, Pentharmony, vocalist, anybody who knows of those groups knows that Sauti Sol is the least, like, Sauti Sol can't even touch those guys in terms of vocal prowess, musicianship, like, you know, they're just amazing.
Even was Antonio Sol in Upper?
Antonio Sol was in Upper. What do you mean? Antonio Sol was my desk mate. Antonio Sol was in my cube. Antonio is my nigga. Antonio is my boy to death. I love him.
Okay, so yeah. So now you've heard this guy sing. You're in Form 1. Where does this story go? You've decided.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a very pivotal moment because I
just went and joined the choir.
I
wasn't in choir in Form 1 because I was a day scholar. But now Form 2 and it became a boarding institution. Then I decided, let me join the choir as a co-curricular activity. And just to go and see girls. And then very quickly I was in the choir, I also stood out. You know, because, and who else stood out? Delvo stood out I stood out in tenor 1, Delvo stood out in tenor 2, and Chimano stood out in bass 1.
Okay, so let me ask, were all of you guys in the same class? Have you already met in Form 1?
Chimano sat in front of me. Chimano came to Upper Hill in Form 2.
Okay.
So he sat in front of me in class. Savara was in red, us were in blue.
Guy.
So Savara was in red. And very quickly, Elani, even in the choir, we just picked ourselves up and me, Chimano and Savara became a group. We were like maybe I'd say 15.
This is in Form 2?
Yeah, 16. We were like 16 years old.
So this is 2002?
This is 202. Yeah, then we just became a group. We started singing.
Did you call yourselves anything?
No, we didn't. Fila from Pentharmony put us together and started training.
Hold on, Fila was in Pentharmony.
Yeah.
Fila now who does
Fila wa Redford.
Yeah.
Was in Pentharmony. Fila was now our Sauti Sol's first music teacher, yani ile kutufundisha kuimba as a group. Now we started singing with set piece. You know set piece, the boys set piece and all of those things. So our first like form of training was very classical. And then now we started branching out to do like Boys to Men covers and all of these other covers under Fila's guidance, and Fila was our teacher. So when everything ended and choir had ended, we would stay for like an hour. Delvo was a prefect, so we always had food. So we stay for like an hour and just rehearse. Tunaimba tu mazee. Tunaimba.
Can you remember some of the stuff you're singing?
Kulikuwa na songs. Hebu ngoja. Songs of Boys in the Light ni legendary. For God so loved the world, He gave His only Son, that who believes in Him shall reign eternally. Is that eternally? Oh, I am still on the race. I am still on the race. Good songs, man. Sorry, man. This morning my voice is raspy. I'm trying to figure myself out. But those were just the best like years of my life. That's all I cared about. Because when I was in high school, the moment I figured myself out musically, I switched off even to education.
I've seen you do something, and we're coming back to that conversation of switching off. I've seen you strumming your hands. At this time, are you playing any instrument?
Oh, in high school?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't playing any instrument.
So in high school,
there was a piano there, but you know, me and piano have never had a good relationship. Hand-eye coordination issues. So actually, we were just a cappella. And during the holidays, we would sing in, even, and Choya from Elani was in our group.
Who? Brayo?
Yeah, Brayo, yeah.
Hey, you've called him who?
Choya. Oh, his name is Cheesy. His name is Cheesy, Brian Choya.
Yeah.
He was also in Voicing the Light in our year, but he was a year behind. Yeah. So by the time he finished, we'd already, like, Sauti Sol had already started doing Sauti Sol things.
Okay, so you guys are these three guys, you, Chimano, Savara,
yeah.
But you haven't given yourselves a name as a group.
No, we just used to be.
So, how have you been announced? Oh, Voicing the Light.
Yeah,
okay.
Because even that time, you see, we were still in school. So in the holidays, we went and sang, and there were other members too. You know, there was a guy called Msengeti. There was Ndeva, and we just went around churches all over, like Nairobi, Kenya, singing in churches, ministry.
Yeah, I love it.
It was fun though.
It's why you're where you're at.
Yeah, and girls liked us, and that's all I cared about, man. You know, like you open your mouth, you sing, and girls start screaming. We sang in PB this one time. We didn't even hear ourselves singing because of how much girls were screaming. We sang in Boma, and it was chaos. So I really like that because of, you know, that kind of attention too.
You ni superstar. Ulikuwa nataka
pia. You start to, yani nilikuwa hey, kitu kuna star yake. Hata nikiwa high school already nilikuwa tu star pia mazee. Nilikuwa tu na mademo anipenda jumu uimba yani. Yeah.
Okay, so Kenyan scene is blowing up. Let me hear, what are you listening to in Kenyan wise?
Nakumbuka Isa akidae nilikuwa class. Ilikuwa Sunday jioni. Best yangu alikuwa na palito, alikuwa aitwa Ayub Ongoro. Alikuwa na palito akasema, "Wase, Isa amededi."
First what tell guys what a palito is.
Palito? Oh, Jesus. I think you should just put a palito when I say palito on the screen. I think that would really help.
It would.
The tiny radio. And Ongoro akasema, "Wase, Isa amedai." Wase kwa, preps iliisha. It was a school night the next morning. Lakini when news of Isa's death went around the whole school, preps was disbanded, everything was disbanded, guys went to sleep.
That guy had that much of
even teachers couldn't stop what had happened. Like boarding masters like, who is dead, you know. Lakini kila kitu tu iliisha yani wazee. Nakumbuka Sol alikuwa analia, ilikuwa ngori, na mimi nilikuwa nimefall in love na muziki ya Isa hiyo time deadly. Sikuwa nimesikia hip hop yenye ni Kenya yenye ni sing along.
Yeah, sing along
to that level. To date, in fact, even in my songwriting, I still pick elements of Isa's, you know, artistry.
And what do you pick?
What do I pick? Hooks. Isa is phenomenal on the hooks. If you listen to even Sauti Sol's music, there's Isa lines in there. You know, kiuno kwa mdundo na hundio mtindo. You know, like just things like those. Like Isa was phenomenal. There's songs like Most that I probably listened to a billion times.
Yep. I agree. He definitely understood the pop formula. Vocally, who are you listening to? Because I mean, aren't you? Because now you see the Kenya music scene is blowing up. Is there anybody who you're feeling?
Do you want me to be honest?
Yeah, honest. I have to be honest. Of course, mani ni CTA.
Kusema tu kweli, mimi nikiwa mtoi, I felt like largely in Kenya guys couldn't sing. I only like Swahili Nation. Because Swahili Nation had good vocals. You know? Masimaira killed it for me. Like she's and still is the queen as far as like femcs and female vocalists are concerned. Like Masimaira for me was such a diva. Her dresses, I adore Masimaira in all like aspects. What else though?
Internationally, who are you listening to then?
In all the other from all the other Kenyan artists, I picked elements of pop that were amazing. I'd never heard of anybody who knew how to make pop music like Nameless. You know, even I won't say even more than Isa, on an Isa level, like Nameless had just mastered himself in a way that this guy wasn't singing like an R&B guy, but he was killing it. I encountered Kimani and I just fell in love, man. I still have Kimani's album in my car. To date.
To date.
Yeah. Iko na mascratch moja mbili hapa. Lakini hiyo album ya Kimani iko na haya. Waidera. Hizo songs zote niko nayo kwa gari. Hata sasa tukishuka nitakuonyesha. Naichezanga hadi wa leo. It's the only CD I have.
Oh man, that's
imagine.
So you see, the reason why I like asking some of these questions, because it shows me your trajectory. So at this time I can see you already like pop. Nika, you've, even though you're doing this gospel thing.
No, I like pop, but you know I listen to all kinds of music, man. I listen to a lot of hip hop. a lot of Tupac, a lot of Biggie, because my brother who was ahead of me, my elder brother. You know, you listen to what your elder brother listens to, and he was a deep hip hop guy. So Puff Daddy, not even P Diddy, Puff Daddy and Mace. That whole era like drove me nuts. I loved everything about hip hop and pop, but when I was in Form 4, I encountered Neo Soul. That's the first time I heard the music Soul Child and Indiari. And then everything else stopped making sense to me. Mimi ule msi hata chuo walipenda reggae at some point, lakini hasa kupenda reggae walikuwa na fight sana. Unajua hizo chuo kuibiana nini. Alafu mimi nimejeka hata kama sikuwa babi nimejeka tu kiupanga, mimi siwezi kuibia mtu Sahara ama kuvaa Sahara pipe. Hiyo nilivaa lakini ilikuwa out of place. Neo Soul ndio music nilisikia, yani nikafeel wow, hii muziki ni tamu.
And I put a bookmark on that name, Indiari, because we're definitely coming back to that.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
The first time I heard Indiari, John Legend, I just started listening to a lot of the Neo Soul Hour on Capitol. And then I started wanting to make that music like that.
Oh, there's an era that we haven't talked about, and that is such a huge Sauti Sol sound, Benga.
Oh, Benga. Hey, Benga now, when I was a kid, I used to travel with my dad a lot. Kilifi, where my uncle lived in Kapsabet. I used to go to any place that I went where there were Kenyans. It was always Maroon Commandos playing. It was always the Mushrooms playing. It was always what I feel even right now I'm trying to replicate in my music. When you listen to Nenda Nenda Lote, when you listen to Susanna, I'm trying to relive that era of uvivu ni adui mkubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa. Nangu twende shamba. Amka amka kumekucha. You remember those songs?
Yep.
And then
actually no, but
those are the best songs ever, man. Like,
I love it.
Kenyan music, I think, was at its best in the 70s. That's when all the golden songs. That's the vault of golden songs. And in fact, no. Let me even ask you right now. Because you know, being of such wisdom, and I wish guys get to see through this CTA. No, ni ukweli. Let me hear your thoughts on that music then and that era, and then why didn't it continue like that? If you're telling me Kenya was such a, and I've been doing my research and I've been finding out that people from South Africa were coming to Kenya. I'm talking about Miriam Makeba. They were coming here to hear that sound that goes to Congo, that went to Congo. The guitar, the band. It didn't go to Congo. It's Africans. We are all Bantu speakers. But you know, like when you listen to Katitu, when you go to South Africa, the Mashinani music of South Africa sounds like Katitu. The Mashinani music of Zimbabwe sounds like Katitu. It's who we are, the Bantu speaking people who dominated these regions. That's our sound on strings. I think Kenya lost it where we didn't create policy for our art. And you know, if there's no conscious decision from government to make sure that art grows with the people, you know, like a country with no art is a country with no culture.
Yep.
So if there's no and if you see the things that were funded properly, artistically, art-wise, were prosperous. Look at choirs.
It's
so
true.
Moi was big on choirs. And that's why choirs grew. But you know, Nyerere had every parastatal in Tanzania have a band. He made it's a must. So KRA has a KRA band, and KRA band does hits. You know, there's a KQ band. So that culture, that policy, is what has made Tanzanians become.
So that's where the Maroon Commandos even comes from in Kenya.
Oh yeah, exactly. Maroon Commandos ni band ya jeshi. So imagine if all parastatals and even private companies had bands. The same way you have a football team.
It's sort of like what the Safaricom choir has done.
Exactly. It's like the Safaricom choir. So every parastatal in Kenya though has a choir. You know that?
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. All parastatals have prison choir.
It's true. Even State House choir. In fact, if you ever do a gig at State House, the first people to sing have to be the State House choir. I understand what you're talking about, policy.
So if something as simple as that, the industry just grows. So Kenya should have grown their pop side more.
Okay.
In the 80s, because there's a time when I was 1994, 1992, I don't remember hearing Kenyan songs except I can't even remember.
You can't even remember. I get it.
But you know something? Also, another time I had the epiphany that I want to be a musician. Sorry that I forgot to say. Shit, my story is all jumbled up.
It's okay, man. Let it be jumbled.
I had Five Alive. And I was literally, that was before anything. Five Alive was the first, I think, act I watched live like this. Five Alive. Akina Eric Wenena, they played in Yaya Center.
Victor Say, Eric Wenena, Bob Kioko and the rest.
And I just had them, Ondio,
oh yes,
I still love you. Nikasema hiyo siku pia nataka kuwa msanii, nataka hii kitu. Niko na book nyingine hapo walikuwa wamenisainia paka autographs lakini ilipotea.
Okay, let me come back to, it's so good to hear the impact that Five Alive have had on guys, man. Okay, let me come back to you guys because your story is huge, man. So Sauti Sol, when what happens now at the end of
high school?
Yes, of high school. Or are there any other memorable moments within high school that you want to talk about?
No, we just sang in high school.
So high school sounded like incubation where you guys were being built.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we finished high school and then
And you finished high school in what year?
205.
205.